Let's go JavaScripting! Hi everybody and welcome to another exciting edition of Boring JavaScript. I'm your host, the Virtuoid, aka Mike Smith, and today we're going to be talking about the symbol data type. Now, symbols are part of the 7 primitive data types available to you in JavaScript, and they provide for you a unique and immutable primitive value that you can then use for a whole sorts of things, especially as keys within objects. Want to see how they work? Let's get started. So how easy is it to create a symbol? Well, you know, to create a string, you have my variable equals and put your characters inside quotes. To create a number, you pass it a number. To create a Boolean, you pass it true or false. Well, to create a symbol, all you have to do is pass it the word symbol with a descriptor as an argument. And that's it. There's no new, no nothing like that, just symbol and a descriptor. And when you do that, it creates that unique and immutable value within the system and is assigned it to my cat. And now my cat is a symbol. Just like it would have been a string or a number or a Boolean, it is now a symbol. So if I go over to Node and I type in node symbol, there it is. There's my cat symbol with a descriptor called Fluffy. Now, I did say earlier that all symbols are unique, so it does beg the question, what if I pass or create another symbol that has a descriptor called Fluffy? Well, let's find out. I've got some extra code down here, and let's pop it to the top here. And so now I'm creating another symbol with the exact same descriptor called Fluffy. Now, JavaScript tells me that each symbol is unique. Let's find out if this symbol is unique. I'm going to cancel.log my cat, cancel.log my other cat. Both of them should say symbol Fluffy. And then I'm going to ask the question, are they the same? And I'm just going to do a little ternary here that says, hey, my cat equals my other cat. I think it should say no because JavaScript guarantees me that they are unique. Let's find out. Let's go over to Node. Let's type in, let's clear the screen off, go to node symbol. And yep, sure enough, there it is. This kind of proves to you that you can pass the exact same descriptor to the symbol and it will still create a unique symbol. So let's flip back over to code and look at a couple other things. Do you have to pass a descriptor? Nope, you sure don't. You can pass it completely blank and it will still create the symbol. Let's go back over to Node. Let's clear the screen off. And as you can tell right there, yep, it's a completely blank symbol. So it is completely optional whether you have some sort of descriptor. Well, how about non-string? So as you can tell here, I've passed strings. What happens if I don't pass a string? Well, let's find out. I've got a whole bunch of them here. And in fact, what I'll do is I'll also just, so we don't have so much on the screen here, let me comment all that out there. And so I am passing a number as the descriptor, a Boolean value. I am passing an object there. I am passing an arrow function. And in fact, I'm even passing another symbol just to see what would happen. So I've got my 5 there. Now, basically what JavaScript will try to do is it will do whatever it can to make that descriptor available to you. So basically convert it to a string if you kind of want to think of it that way. So let's flip back over to Node. And let's clear the screen off. And we go to node symbol and oh, crash, 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 crash. What happened here? Now, the reason that happened here is exactly the reason it says on the error message here. Cannot convert a symbol value to a string. That's something, that's the third point that you need to understand about strings, is that they are unique, they are immutable, but they also don't immediately get converted over to strings. If you want this string to get, if you want a symbol to convert over to a string, you have to use a toString method on the symbol to be able to get it to convert to a string. So for instance, you know, 1, let's flip back over to our code here. You know, the 1 here will attempt to get converted to a string. The true will get converted to a string. You can convert an object to a string. You convert a function to a string. You just cannot immediately convert a symbol to a string. So the easiest way to fix that is to say toString. And now we're converting the symbol to a string, and that should make it everybody very, very happy. Let's flip over to our code. Excuse me, the node. Let's type in clear screen. And yep, everybody's happy. So as you can tell here, converted it to a string. I now got my one as identifier. There's my Boolean. Here's my object. It shows it converted it to a string. It converted my function to a string. And now that it converted my symbol to a string, it's happy and it makes a symbol out of that. So that shows you how to create symbols. So what good are symbols? Now remember, I said that they were unique and immutable, which means they're great for keys within objects. We'll show you that next. So what good are symbols? Well, they're great for keys to objects. So let's take a look at that. I have a JSON file here. In fact, let's just show it to you real quick. Here's my simple little JSON file, which has three properties: type, name, and class. And what I am going to do is I am going to read that into my application here. Then I'm going to loop through each one of the animals, and I'm going to add that animal to the zoo. Now, before I do that, I've got to set the key to each of these records in order to try to uniquely identify each one of these particular records. And I have chosen the type property on the JSON file to assign to the key. So what's going to happen when I add my animal to the zoo is the first thing it checks to find out if there's already an animal that has been added to the zoo that has this particular key. And if so, it's going to say, I already have this key. It's going to just throw an error message. Otherwise, it's going to add it to the zoo and welcome the animal. Now, if we go back to animals.json, I have an animal cat here, Fluffy, and another animal cat here, Mr. Tinkles, which means this should bomb out because I've got duplicate keys here for type. So let's just take a look at it. Let's go into Node, and let's type in Node Object. And yep, crash! There it is. Error, already have this key. As you can tell, it did find all the rest of them, my cat and my dog, my horse, and all that kind of fun stuff, but it crashed on the cat. So what are we to do? Well, this is a great place to use symbols. Now, honestly, I'll have to admit, with this simple example here, we could have easily just said, oh, we'll just combine type and name, and that should be unique enough. But in a lot of databases, that may not be the easiest way to be able to do it. So all we have to do here is to assign a new symbol. And I'm going to say symbol. I'm going to spell it right first, and I'm going to say symbol here. And that will create a unique key within the global scope of the JavaScript program here. And that key will be assigned to animal key, which means I don't care how many duplications I now have in my JSON file, it's going to work perfectly because from its point of view here, every time I assign a new symbol, it's going to assign a unique key to, in this case, my key property. So what happens when I run this? Let's go back over to Node. Let's clear off the screen. Let's run it. And there it is, Fluffy the cat. There's my dog. In fact, there's my last Mr. Tinkles the cat. Now, like I said, will it handle duplicates? No. It's going to have no problems whatsoever with duplicates because, again, I'm assigning a unique value to each symbol. So this is a way that you can use, unique value to each record. So this is the way you can use symbols as keys into objects to make sure that whatever database you're reading in has each particular record is completely unique. Now, I do want to warn you on one thing here. A symbol is only unique within the sphere of your application while it is running. If you stop your application and run again, you may actually get the exact same symbols or you may get something different. It's only guaranteed to be unique within the running application. So this does not mean this is a replacement for the UUIDs or the GUIDs, which pretty much, not guarantees, but pretty much means that it's almost unique within the whole scope of the entire world whenever you generate it. No. Symbols are only unique within the running application that you're working with. So it's not a good idea to save symbols off to a database. You would want to have, in that case, a GUID or a UUID. Symbols are great within your running application to be able to separate all those different records. And again, why? It's because each one is unique no matter what, and they can never be changed. And that's why symbols are great for keys within objects. And that's all there is for symbols in JavaScript. I hope you enjoyed our video. Hope it didn't bore you to death. Please view all of our videos at www.boringjavascript.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel or check out everything we have at www.thevirtualoid.com. Thanks again for watching and we'll see you later.